Yeah, it's got a heaps of joke for you.
It's a bit seedy if you ask me.
Ah, you stole my joke, you dog. Yo mate, what up? Welcome to another lawn tip vid. Alright, so today's video we're going to one of my mates' places just to reseed their lawn, so let's just go! Alrighty, so today we are at Ash's house. Where are you, mate? Where you go? You there? There's the bad boy. Oh yes. Right, and today we are oversowing his yard. So this is his backyard just here. That's a bad view of it. Just there. So we're in this section here, and this one just here behind me as well, just the side yard. So it's about 100 metres squared, maybe a bit over. And I'll just show you the process of how we actually oversow it and go about that. Work that. What you doing, mate?
Just trying to level my ground out a bit.
That's nice. Alright, so we're just going to measure up this front yard with this measuring tape just here. So we'll get the measurements so we get the right rates for the seed and also for our dirt that we're going to chuck on top for the seed to sit in. Just hold it, please.
Yeah, mate, yeah. Just having a quick...
Having a what?
Having a quick sip of the old water.
Having a quick sip. First thing we're going to do is draw out the backyard. Just draw up your yard. This is a pretty sketchy drawing, but that'll work, and then put your measurements alongside it. Please, can you hold it?
I'd just go to each line in the driveway and start from there.
No, I don't want to.
Just because I don't think you'll make the second one.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, no. You're right. I think I broke the tape measure too. 43.50. Come on, please. Right, so here's all our measurements here. So we'll put them back to decimal points, 9.3. So from there, we're going to plus all those numbers together, which equals about 41. So that's all the metres plus together. And now we're going to divide that by 4, which equals 10.25. So from there, I'm going to go, so we're going to do it like we're doing, figuring a normal area. So normally to find a square, you times the length by the width. So we figured out now that one side would technically be 10.25 because we added all those up and divide them by 4. So 10.25 times 10.25 equals 105 metres squared. Such a hard worker. Work that. So today we're putting down some perennial ryegrass, and then we're just using some of this NutriPlus fertilizer just to chuck it over top to give it a bit of a start. So this perennial ryegrass here I bought from Globe Growing Solutions, and this is actually the stuff they use at ANZ Stadium as well, so it's going to be some fancy stuff. Before we put any dirt down, we're going to put this half of the seed down first. So for this rate on this actual seed, it's about 3 to 5 kilos per 100 metres squared. So on this side we're about 105 metres squared, so we're going to put 4 kilos down, and that's for your oversow rate. And this side we're going to reseed the whole thing, so we're going to put about 2 kilos down. It's about 40 to 50 metres squared over that side. So with this stuff in particular, since we're going to do halfway, we'll put 2 kilos down going one direction, and then we'll put our dirt on top, and then we'll put some more seed on top with another 2 kilos going the other direction as well. Right, so I'm going to put the seed out now. So we've got this little spreader here with the seed in it. So we're just going to set it back at quite a low setting because seed is quite small, so it'll flick out pretty quick. So basically what Ash is going to do is it's going to go in 2 directions. So we'll go north-south our first way, and you're basically going to chuck your seed to where your last seed landed from your last run. So north-south one way, and then we go back the opposite direction as well. And if you've got seed left over, you want to obviously pull it back a bit so you get to go over it at least once again. So you get an even distribution of that seed. Right, so this is the stuff we're using. This is called Nitro Top Dress. This is from A&L. And the reason I like to use this stuff is because it stays nice and moist for a lot longer. I mean, you don't have to use this if you want. People like to use sand when they're top dressing. I just like to use this stuff when I'm actually seeding because it keeps the moisture in there. If I was just doing a top dress without seeding, I'd actually use sand. But for this instance, we're going to use this stuff. Keep it nice and moist. So to figure out how much you need to figure out what your area is. So we've got about 100 meters squared on this side. So we times that by 0.001, which got us about 1 meter cubed. So that's why I've got a meter cubed here. So we'll see how far it goes. Might have a bit left over, which will be good because we'll chuck it over this side area here as well. So let's just show you how we put it out. Actually dump it, mate. Yeah, bro. That's exactly what I want you to do. Alright, so everyone likes to put out their top dressing soil a little bit differently. People like to put it in piles and push it out by a rake. What I like to do is actually use the shovel and spread it out evenly across the yard. So you find one corner and you work from that corner down and cover the rest of the yard. Ash is just going there now. So you tip it out and then you start throwing it out with the shovel to distribute it evenly across the yard. I mean, it just depends on which way you do it. You can use a rake or you can throw out the shovel. Ash, what did the seed say to the dirt?
Get off me.
You're so dirty. Yeah, there's no laughs in that. Right, so we've leveled all that out now with the lawn level. So next thing we're going to do is oversow it again, which Ash is doing right now. So going again in both directions. So remember we did half the seed at the start and then half the seed the second time around as well. And we're going to do that the same with this little side section as well. Ash, got a head to a joke for you.
Seedy if you ask me.
Ah, you stole my joke, you dog. Right, so now the second lot of seeds out, Ash is just going to go over it again and rake it in with that lawn level. You can use a rake as well. We'll actually use a rake on this section over here just to make it a bit easier. So generally after you've done that, you normally get a seed roll and roll it in, but we're not going to worry about it too much today, only because we don't have one. But you can actually hire out like a water weighted roller and it just helps squish the seed into the soil a bit more, so you get that seed to soil contact a lot better. But I mean, it's fine. I've quite a few times not rolled it and it's been fine, so it's not a big issue if you don't have one. But yeah, Ash is doing well. I haven't really done much today. Slave boy. So just while Ash is doing that, mad job. This is the fertilizer we're going to use here. So generally use a starter fert or something that's got quite a bit of nitrogen in it. This one here, it's got 18% nitrogen, so it's pretty good. So yeah, put about 2.5 kilos down, just to get that seed kicked off and going and get some nutrients in that soil as well. Alrighty, so next step is to fertilise. So Ash is walking around now and fertilising it. So I'm using that NutriPlus stuff. If you didn't see my video on that last week, I'll link it just up there and I'll link it in the description below, and have a listen to that video about how that stuff works. It's got to be humic acid in it, so it's really going to help this seed to germinate as well. But if you want to know more info, look at that video there. So Ash is going to go same thing with the seed, north, south, in one direction, and then go the opposite direction, east and west, just so we get a nice even coverage of this fertilizer. Alrighty, so all the hard stuff is done. Now we've just got the last step, which is our watering, which is always the most important step and the step that people always struggle with, as I always say, because it's hard to know how much water to put down. But let's just talk about that. So for this area here, we're going to use these impact sprinklers, and we've got a little tap timer as well that we're going to use just to put our times of the day, because if you're not at home all the time, then you can't just go flick the tap on manually all the time. So we've got a little tap timer, and so what we're going to do is we're going to set it for 4 times a day. So 7 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and 7 o'clock again. So 7, 11, 3, 7. 7, 11, 3, 7. And normally you do about 15 minutes of water each time. It really depends on your yard, but you just want to keep it moist, not flood it, and just try to keep it wet in between those periods between 7 and 11, so every 4 hours basically. So you want to put enough water down that just stays moist for those 4 hours. So I normally say about 15 to 20 minutes. Be different depending on your sprinklers and how much water they chuck out, but you generally go about that. If you want to know any more info about this as well, I actually did a video quite a while back about how to seed your lawn, so I'll put that up there as well, link that in the description. It gives you more in-depth detail about germination times and when you can first mow your lawn and etc. So go have a look at that video as well. We'll do a weekly update on this lawn probably as well. I'll chuck an extra video on every single week and show you how the growth is going and just take you through that as well. Right, so I've got the sprinkler going now. So generally for your first water you want to get it really nice and wet. So I normally say at least 2 hours just to make a really good start for your watering, so your other waters can be a lot shorter. So we're going to run this for a while. Now if you can, try and do this on a Friday afternoon or a Saturday morning or something when you're actually doing your oversowing. So when you are actually putting up your timers for your sprinkles and stuff, you can see how long it takes for it to dry out to figure out how many minutes of water you need to do every 4 hours. So by the look of this at the moment, I'm going to guess it's going to be around about 20 minutes to 25 minutes every 4 hours. But it really just depends. Ash will check that over the next couple of days anyway and figure it out from there. So that's a quick tip for you. Try to do it on a Friday or a Saturday morning so you can figure it out. So you can got it nice and wet for those 25 to 30 days. Alrighty, we're all done. Thanks guys for watching. I'll do weekly updates on that as well, just so you know how it's going. So I'll chuck a weekly upload at least once a week for the next couple of weeks, just to show you how the seed is growing. But if you enjoyed that, subscribe down below or up above, wherever you subscribe, press that button, brah. Chuck a like there if you enjoyed that, and you have a good week. Water that long.